Hello again, vinyl community, record lovers, music fans, all that good stuff. Hope everybody's doing well. It's James coming at you with another collections video and a couple of announcements, updates. Before I get started in today's collection, which is obviously about Oasis, I thought I would just do a couple updates and quick announcements. First of all, importantly, I wanted to go on YouTube. I've already done this in the Facebook side of things, but for YouTube, I have not taken the time or had the time to. It's been a very, very busy week. I was out, way the hell out in West Texas this past week. 7-hour drive from home, and it was just exhausting. And the heat here, if you live in Central and South Texas and West Texas, you know how horrible and excruciating the heat can get this time of the year, and this summer is no exception. So it was just really a very exhausting week. But I am home now, obviously, and great to be back with you. But I haven't had time to thank everybody for the milestone that I hit right before I left, the day before I left actually, Monday. I hit 300 subscribers, which was just absolutely mind-blowing, really, if you think about it, because I've only had this channel active for 5 months, and to have 300 people take the time to watch your videos, obviously like them, hit the subscribe button, and acknowledge what you're doing as something they want to come back and see again, it really means a whole lot to me. So I can't say thank you enough to each and every one of you who have done that and taken the time to enjoy the videos and take a look at my music collections and talk about vinyl records and all the things that we love talking about here. So thank you, thank you, thank you for for allowing me to hit the 300 subscribers mark. I really honestly didn't think this channel would work. It took me almost 3 years to even want to do videos, as some of you who have been friends with me for a long time know. It wasn't very eager or very quick to come out of the gate blazing and ready to do videos, so I really thought, well, I just don't think the video side of things is for me. But yeah, I'm really glad I finally took the plunge, and I'm really, really pleased that the channel has been successful. So thank you all again, and I'm going to keep going, and hopefully the subscribers will grow with me, and we can all enjoy talking about music. And most importantly, really, I love the comments. I've had so many wonderful comments on almost every video that's what really keeps me going, is just the interaction, the friendships, of course, and just talking about music. It's so much fun. So thank you again. And secondly, if you're not aware, if this is the first time you're an Oasis fan and you're just checking out this channel for the first time, or if you haven't visited the channel in a while, there's a contest going on. I'm giving away the new Tame Impala record on color vinyl because I bought 2 copies by mistake. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and you've got just 1 week left to either, if you're making videos, make a video reply as to what your favorite album of the year is, and if you're not making any music-related videos whatsoever, I am allowing non-video makers to just leave me a comment on that original video, which is just a couple back, about telling me about what their favorite album of 2015 is so far and what you like about it so much. So it's very simple, and the drawing for that will be sometime next weekend, hopefully Saturday, maybe Sunday, and so just a week left really to enter that contest. I've gotten a lot of entries already, really pleased with the turnout. It's got almost 400 views. I don't know exactly how many entries there are that qualify, but I think the list is pretty good, so somewhere in the 20 range. So I'd like to get more. I'm sure the people who have already entered don't want that. They say, hey, that's enough. But anyway, it's all about fun, and we're just here to have fun. So anyway, 7 days left on that, so if you're planning to enter my contest, make sure you make it a priority this week to do that. Okay, so on to Oasis. Knowing that I had a couple things to talk about, and knowing the first 5 minutes of this video were going to be taken up with other topics, I really tried to pick something a little bit easy today. And I'm just going to talk about the band Oasis, and just show you what I've got. I do have all of their studio albums on vinyl, so I'm going to show you that. That's really primarily what we're going to do today. So it all started with Oasis. I've been a fan since the beginning. since 1994 with their debut album, and many would say this is still their best album, and I cannot disagree with that. Definitely Maybe came out in 1994, August of 1994 to be exact. So this is, what, the 21st anniversary of this album, which is unbelievable. In a way, it still feels like it just came out. Now, this is an original copy. Most of my Oasis albums are original, apart from one, and I'll show you which one is a repress. This has been reissued recently, so you can pick it up very easily, and I'm very happy, though, that I got an original, because these sound wonderful, and I'm not saying that the new ones don't. From what I've seen of the one that I have, they do sound really good. But this is an original 2LP press, UK pressing, and just wonderful. So you guys know what songs are on here. This is just chock full of hits. And I should point out, this is a good time to do it because it's his favorite album, but I met a new friend, and that's one of the greatest things about the vinyl community, is meeting new people. And his channel name is, let me think here for a second, the Vinyl Fanatic. Great channel name. And he's one of my younger viewers, and just really starting out. He's only made a couple videos. So I'm going to put a link in the description box to this video, to his channel. So check it out, because he raves about Oasis. He's a big fan. He loves the Manchester rock scene from the 90s and early 2000s. Big Blur fan, Charlatans, James, a lot of cool bands that I really like too, so I think we are going to have a lot in common, and I look forward to seeing more videos from you, Kieran. So a shout out to his channel, and he's inspired me to do this video today. So anyway, back to the album. It is just chock full of hits. Rock and Roll Star, Live Forever, maybe their best song ever, Supersonic, Cigarettes and Alcohol, you know, it just goes on and on and on. So Oasis started off with a bang. I mean, they come out full guns blazing and really put out one of the best debut albums maybe ever. Say what you want about Oasis. I'm not going to get into the what I like and what I don't like about Oasis, and hell, I say I won't, but it's kind of hard not to, almost, because there are lots of things I don't like about Oasis, and one of them is the personality of both of the Gallagher brothers. I mean, they're just really egotistical, and I personally don't think they're terrific live. I think they're quite boring to watch, although they play wonderfully. Never been a great live band as far as I'm concerned. A lot of people call them a rip-off artist of many of the popular bands of the 60s, and all those things are somewhat true. But I've always been a fan of them, and some of it is kind of like scratch your heads. I'm not really sure why, but I always went back and always enjoyed their albums. And for me, they're an album act. I know they had many, many singles, but never really appreciated them live, even though I will admit I never saw them live personally. I've seen many, many clips and DVDs and everything that you can imagine of them live, and it just never really intrigued me. So anyway, Definitely Maybe is definitely a great album, and for some reason, if you live in a hole and have never heard that album, that is the best place to start with their catalog. Their first three albums, really, you can do no wrong. Okay, so from there, next year they released What's the Story, Morning Glory, and arguably this could be many people's favorite album too. And again, this is just chock full of hits, just unbelievably packed full. And I will open this just to show you the gatefold since it's opened here. Let's see, this is going to be a nice glossy cover. Here's the inside of the album. It's actually a double gatefold. And, is it? Yeah. It's a little bit hard to open here while I'm got one hand. There we are. So, I'll just let you guys take a peek at that. It is just really wonderful. And this is the one new reissue that I've got from their most recent reissue campaign. A wonderful picture there of the brothers. And it is a shame that how much they despise each other, because, I mean, you know, you think bands break up and there's a lot of bitterness and tension, and it's like, well, they're brothers. That makes it even all the more kind of crappy. But anyway, this is a wonderful album. What's the Story? Morning Glory. And again, if for some reason you've lived in a cave and you don't know anything about this album, here is the track listing. And take your pick of the hits, because it's chock full of them. And they were definitely on a roll. Never had massive chart success in America, with the exception of this album and the following album. I'm looking here on Wikipedia while I'm talking to you. Their debut album hit number 58 in America, and this album hit number 4. So it did resonate with Americans, as did their next album, although they were a little bit slow. It wasn't the immediate chart success like they had in the UK. Each one of their first 3 albums hit number 1 in the UK, which not many acts can say that. Okay, speaking of their third album, in 1997 we've got Be Here Now, which is an original copy, which, you know, always better to have originals, I think, when possible. I'm much more, I suppose if you look at my entire collection, I'm about 50-50 between originals and represses, and I have no issue with either as long as it's done well. But this is an original, and I would say probably that the represses are really equally good. Here's the gatefold. I'm not going to show you the vinyl record. They're all black, and the label you could probably look up online. But this has got a lot of good songs on it too. Don't Go Away, Be Here Now. Wow, the first track, Do You Know What I Mean, is just a rockin' anthem type stadium song, and I just love it. It's hard to pick favorites, but those 3 stand out for me. Noel Gallagher writes all the songs for Oasis, and to me, he's always been the real talent, even though he wasn't really the main lead singer of Oasis. He is the brother that I think is the most talented. Again, don't shoot me for that if you're a Liam fan. But hey, this is a fine album, and really it seemed like at the time, their first 3 albums, they just could do no wrong. Massive success, and especially in the UK. This album did sell well in America, sold 4 million copies in America, sold 4.6 million copies in the UK, and you know, they had a lot of success. So I'm sorry, that was What's the Story, Morning Glory. Be Here Now sold 1.8 million copies in the UK, and just over 1 million in the US. So they did have success. For those people who think Oasis were never successful in America, not quite true. Not to the level they were in the UK, by no means, but I'm looking here, and I'm kind of discovering as I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every album that they've ever put out, everything I'm going to show you today has been a UK number 1. I don't know how many bands can say that. I really don't. I would think it'd be a very short list. If somebody knows that number, leave a comment, because it seems pretty amazing to me. Every album, studio album, that they've ever released has been a UK number 1. Wow. I didn't even realize it until just now. Anyway, okay, so we've been through the first 3. Album number 4 was a pretty radical departure for Oasis, and really critically lauded as not very good. And I kind of agree with that, but I kind of think it gets a bad rap too. It's not as bad as people think. Standing on the Shoulder of Giants in 2000 on this one. It's really a pretty decent album. And I've kept this one in shrink because it is an original. It's, I just slit the side so I can play it. But I'm keeping the shrink on this one because these are getting harder to find in original condition. But this one didn't have the U.S. success. It didn't have much of. Hit number 24 in the U.S., but it only sold 200,000 copies, which is quite low for the U.S. I'd say give it another try if you haven't heard it since it came out. It's really not that bad, and by no means as good as their first 3, but still a very good album. So Standing on the Shoulder of Giants is worth having in your Oasis collection. Okay, from there, they had a big kind of comeback, if you will, if you want to call it a comeback after 4 albums. Their 5th album, I love it. I think it may be my favorite Oasis album. Now I know that's very controversial and kind of a radical statement, but I love the next album. I think this album is, at least at this moment in time, it probably could change, but I love Heathen Chemistry. I think it's just a fantastic effort and a fantastic album. And this is a bit of a return to form after a disappointing previous album that we just discussed. But this one is just fantastic. Boy, every song on here is just so good. I happened to be living in Australia when this came out, so I remember my brother and I, he's an Australian, and when this album came out, we played it and played it and played it a lot. We both liked it a lot, and we're pretty blown away. So a welcome comeback in, let's see, 2002 from Oasis with Heathen Chemistry. Again, this is in shrink. I've kept it in the shrink wrap. It's got a little bit of a separation here, so I'm going to be careful with it, but I just, of course, slit the sides so I can hear the album. But these are getting hard to find, and they're going for a pretty pricey price tag, so I'm kind of being careful with my Oasis albums. I'm sure they'll all get reissued if you're missing some pieces in your Oasis collection as they're working through their catalog releasing stuff. It's just a matter of time. Unfortunately, from there, it kind of goes south for me. After Heathen Chemistry, they did 2 more studio albums. This is the next one called Don't Believe the Truth. It's okay. It just didn't live up to the expectations. This wasn't very successful in America. Sold a couple 100,000 copies. It did almost sell 1 million copies in the UK, though, and was a UK #1 in 2005. Here's the track listing. If you don't know it, you can just pause the video and have a look at that. There are some good songs on here. You know, it's difficult to pick out favorites because I don't really like this album that much. I just gotta be honest. It just didn't do it much for me. Now, some people say, well, neither did Heathen Chemistry. That album didn't do much for me either. But, hey, taste is going to be varied. We're all, you know, opinionated, and we all have our personal favorites. But this one is probably the weakest of their entire catalog as far as I'm concerned. And then, finally, in 2008, they had their final studio album called Dig Out Your Soul. And again, this is an original, obviously. It hasn't been reissued yet. It may not be. It's not that old. This one is still pretty easy to find. I think the last 2 you can get reasonably priced. So I doubt there'll be a reissue of this one anytime soon. 2008, Dig Out Your Soul. I like it better than the previous effort, but by no means is it as good as the first 3 albums, and then Heathen Chemistry for me are what Oasis has, you know, that's what they're known for, and those are the albums. Those are my go-to albums. But this isn't too bad, and I'm sorry I can't show you the gatefold. I kind of would like to know what it looks like myself, but I don't want to open it. I'm being kind of fussy with my Oasis stuff, but hey, things happen. One other, I guess, studio album, you can call it, is The Master Plan. This is just a collection of B-sides. This was originally intended to just be released in America and Japan and other parts of the world that didn't really get vinyl singles like you guys did in the UK. This came out in, let's see here, 1998. So just a collection of B-sides, really actually quite good. And I can show you the gatefold on this one because it is not in shrink. Got a pretty good deal on this online. And this goes for too much money. And it's quite good, actually. I can't say I have any favorites on this one because, frankly, I haven't listened to it enough. There's some covers on here, one live track, a Beatles song, I Am the Walrus, and otherwise it's just B-sides from singles. So I'll show you the track listing here if you want to pause the camera. Camera focuses. Hopefully you can read that. Sorry if you can't. So anyway, that is my studio albums plus the master plan of Oasis. And I'm very, very pleased and happy that I have a complete discography, if you will. I know there are a couple other really highly coveted items. They've got Time Flies. That's got a vinyl release. That is a compilation, greatest hits compilation. Wouldn't mind having it, really, because sometimes you do want to just have the hits, but it really goes for a high price tag, and I'm not willing to spend it when I've got the albums. There probably is 1 or 2 tracks on there that isn't on anything else, but it's just too expensive. Stop the Clocks is another one that I do not have. I might have a CD yet. I didn't even bother pulling out any of my Oasis CDs because they're just basic, boring CDs. And then, yeah, I think those are the other 2 that I guess I wouldn't mind having if anyone's donating records. So I'm joking, of course. Record Store Day, I think it was 2014's Record Store Day. There was a 12-inch single for Supersonic. I did pick that up for Record Store Day because you can see the original price tag on there, $12.99 from Waterloo. Nice to have it. Like most Record Store Day items, it's probably escalated in price considerably. And Kyrian, I told you I would open this and tell you if it's sealed or not, because I couldn't remember if I ever opened it and played it. And I did open it and play it, so I'm sorry. I guess I'm sorry. Not really sorry. I should open it and play it. But this has got, let's see, Supersonic is the A side, obviously. The B side is Take Me Away and I Will Believe Live. And I believe this is just a exact reproduction of how the original 12-inch single looked and the track listing. Could be wrong. I don't have any Oasis 12-inch singles or 7-inch singles. I see them occasionally from time to time, but they're usually overpriced. And frankly, you know, I'm not a big singles collector, so. But this was record store day, and you know, you get caught up in it a bit, so it's nice to have it. Okay, since the band broke up in 2009, they've reformed in two separate entities. Liam's band, Beady has released a couple albums. This is called Different Gear, Still Speeding. Not a bad album here. Not much of a fan of Beady. I think they have a couple good songs here and there, but for albums, that just hasn't worked for me that much. Not yet, anyway. Maybe they'll continue on. Not a bad album, though, and certainly interesting. So I might suggest on this one, if you find a vinyl copy cheap or pick up a CD, they're probably 50 cents or less. Or just listen to it on Spotify. That's my opinion. The second album they have released is much better. This album came out in, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, this is the predecessor to that last one I just showed you, I think. 2013, this one's listed on Amazon. This one's called B, and this is a better effort as far as I'm concerned. A better album. Sorry for the little bit of, tiny bit of nudity on the cover. Hopefully that doesn't offend you, too many people. It's pretty mild. But really decent album, and there you have it. Very, very boring gatefold. So I would say if you're interested in Beady to see what Liam has been up to since the departure of Oasis, this is probably the one to get of the two, in my opinion. Now, Noel Gallagher, the other brother, he's released two albums with the outfit called High Flying Birds, Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. This is the first of those. I will say, you know, again, maybe I'm a little bit biased because I think Noel is the talent of the band. He's less offensive, it doesn't bother me as much. He's just a more pleasant person, and he writes the songs, and he's got more talent, and his voice is good. Doesn't need his brother, and I think he's finally realized that. This came out in 2011. It's not a bad album at all, and this is just self-titled, so not a bad place to start if you want to see where he's been up to since Oasis. However, this one that came out this year, this is the best thing he's done since, I would say, Heathen Chemistry. This is a really, really good album. This is 2015's Chasing Yesterday, and this is fantastic. This probably will make my top 20 albums of the year if I had to not buy another record yet this rest of the year. It might change because I still need to play it more. I'll show you the gatefold real quick since it's so new. Very strange. I have no idea who that person is. But this is a really good album, and I know Dino from the vinyl community on Facebook and here on YouTube, you are a huge fan of Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, Oasis, all of it. And you just adore this record, as do many. I know my friend Daniel loves this record. So this is a really good effort. I would say this is almost as good as anything Oasis has done. So if you don't know where to start with your Oasis collection, why not start here? This is really good. And I'm not joking about that. This holds up very well to anything Oasis has ever done. And I never lie, ever. So, really good. Great effort there by Noel. Okay, so that's it. Rather short, well, 25 minutes still. I don't know where the time goes, guys. I really don't. I try to make these videos short, and it just never works. Anyway, thank you for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed Oasis. Check out some of their music if you haven't. Definitely worthwhile. And until next time, I'll be back with a drawing video next weekend. probably another music collections video sometime in between that or around the same time as the drawing as well. So good luck to everybody who's entered, and I can't wait to mail out this Tame Impala record, which is very high on the list of Album of the Year so far. With that said, I'll save the rest for that video. Wish you all a great weekend and hope you're doing well. Take care. Bye for now.